What Eala said to Hailey Baptiste at the net straight after she retired injured from their match. Eala's best qualities were put on display yesterday, emphasizing not only her immense tennis talent, but her kind personality too. After all, storming into a one-set lead against Hailey Baptiste, she was within touching distance of reaching the round of 32 at the Dubai Tennis Championships in the end. Her passage came far sooner than expected, with Eala's opponent heading to the net early in the second set to confirm her retirement. It marked a sad end to what had been an enthralling encounter when these two met in the Australian Open just last month. Eala had nothing but kind words for Baptiste after the match, as we actually got to hear their conversation at the net immediately following this match. Eala's heartwarming message to Hailey Baptiste at the net. Not only did we get to hear about what exactly was ailing Baptiste, but we saw the compassion Eala has in her reaction. The American simply explained, "My is messed up." This drew a sympathetic response from Eala, who replied, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Have you got tested or something? I'm so sorry." Then, as Baptiste walked away following the first of two hugs that Eala gave her, the Filipina added, "Recover well, okay? At Indian Wells, you'll be back." Eala also spoke kindly about Baptiste in her post-match interview, reinforcing the sympathy she had for her injured opponent, Eala's golden opportunity against Jasmine Paolini. With that win through retirement, Eala is into the second round at the Dubai Tennis Championships. However, she faces a daunting task on paper, with the sixth seed Jasmine Paolini awaiting her. That being said, there's cause for optimism for the 20-year-old, who should be confident of claiming a top-ranked scalp. Against the out-of-form Italian, Paolini has hardly set the world alight in 2026, losing to teen sensation Iva Jovic in the third round of the Australian Open, before suffering a first-round exit in Qatar just last week. Eala will hope to pile on the misery with what would be a huge win for her, to secure her spot in the Dubai Tennis Championships round of 16. That the crowd was still murmuring when it happened. Not the loud, electric roar that usually follows a winner, nor the collective groan after a missed opportunity. This was softer, confused, sympathetic, uncertain. The kind of sound that drifts across a stadium when something bigger than the scoreboard takes over. On one side of the net stood Eala, racket lowered, breathing hard, heart still racing from competition. On the other side, near the service line, was Hailey Baptiste, her face tightened not in frustration but in pain. Moments earlier, Baptiste had taken a step toward a wide ball and something had given, not dramatically, not theatrically, but decisively. A twist. A jolt. The kind of pain athletes recognize instantly. She tried to shake it off. Tried to stretch it out. Tried to take a few careful steps, but the body does not negotiate. When she walked to the chair umpire and spoke quietly, the words carried across the silence anyway. She couldn't continue. Retirement. The match was over. Eala didn't celebrate. There was no raised fist, no cry to the sky. Victory had arrived in the wrong packaging. She walked to the net, the place where tennis players meet not just as competitors, but as equals who have shared battle. Baptiste leaned slightly on her racket as she approached. There was disappointment in her eyes, not at losing, but at not being able to finish. For athletes, that is often worse. They reach the net, and in that brief, private space between white tape and roaring crowd, Eala leaned in and spoke. No microphones caught it. No broadcast replayed it. But if you could have heard her, perhaps it sounded something like this. "Hey, I'm really sorry. Not sorry for winning. Not sorry for advancing. But sorry that the fight had been cut short." Baptiste gave a small nod, jaw tight. Competitors understand each other in ways outsiders never quite can. They know the months of training that go into a single match. The early mornings. The ice baths. The invisible sacrifices. To have it end because your body refuses to cooperate feels like betrayal. "You were playing so well," Eala might have added, her voice low and sincere. "I was ready for a battle." And that was the truth. Before the injury, the rallies had been fierce. Baptiste's power against Eala's precision. Angles carved sharply. Baselines defended like territory in a quiet war. Every point earned, not gifted. Eala knew what it meant to earn his, one of the rising stars from the Philippines. She carried more than her own ambitions each time she stepped on court. She carried expectation. History. Every match was a chance to prove she belonged among the best. She did not want advancement handed to her by circumstance. Baptiste exhaled slowly, perhaps saying something like, "You would have had to beat me." There might have been a faint smile there, competitive pride refusing to disappear even through pain. Eala's answer could have been simple. "I know. And I would have tried." Not arrogance. Not certainty. Just respect. Injuries are the uninvited guests of sport. They arrive without warning and leave questions in their wake. What could have been? Athletes carry those questions longer than fans ever do. Eala might have reached across the net, squeezing Baptiste's hand a second longer than usual. "Take care of it," she might have said. This isn't the end. Because it never is. Not for fighters. Around them, cameras zoomed in, hungry for visible drama. Tears, frustration, collapse. But what they captured instead was something quieter: sportsmanship. Two young women standing in mutual recognition. Baptiste straightened as much as she could. "Go win it," she might have told Eala, and that is often what injured players say, not out of politeness, but as a way of transferring unfinished purpose. "If I can't finish this, you do something with it." Eala would have nodded, absorbing that weight. "I'll try to make it count." In that exchange lives the hidden code of tennis. Today it is me advancing, tomorrow it might be you. The rankings shift. The draws change. The margins are thin. But respect remains. Perhaps Eala added something softer, something almost lost in the noise of the crowd rising again as applause swelled for Baptiste's effort. "You're too good for this to stop you." It's the kind of thing athletes say not because it sounds nice, but because they believe it. Because they've felt the same fear themselves. The brief flicker of panic when the body fails and the mind wonders, what if this changes everything? Eala has known pressure. Known doubt. Known what it feels like to fight through tight matches and public expectation. In that moment, she wasn't just a competitor. She was a peer who understood fragility. Baptiste may have responded with a quiet laugh through the pain. "I'll be back." Of course she would. They separated then. Baptiste turned toward her team, walking carefully but with dignity. The crowd applauded louder now, honoring courage over outcome. Eala stood for a moment alone at the net. Victory registered officially on the scoreboard beside her name. But what lingered wasn't triumph, it was perspective. Tennis is often described as a lonely sport. One player on each side. No teammates to substitute in. No one to share the physical burden mid-match. But moments like this reveal an invisible solidarity. Both athletes understand what it costs to stand there.